All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I got my coach and mentor on here, Cornelius Parkin. I've been following him for a long time before I hired him as a coach. I think I started following you back in like 2018 or 2019. And then I originally wanted to work with you like in 2020, but it just didn't work out. And then you referred me to one of your clients at the time, Joe, and then I worked with him for a few years, and he was a good coach. But now I've been working with you. I think it's been nine 9 months now, I think. Yeah,
That
and
sounds
so I
right to
think I've
me, yeah.
made pretty good progress this whole time. So
I would agree.
thanks.
I would agree.
Yeah. So I just wanted to have him on here. He knows so much, but today I think I wanted to focus more on some like training stuff. But we'll see like where the conversation takes us.
Forward to it, Sam.
Yeah. So, because I've tried to do my best at explaining like your like kind of newer methodology of training, like the control training, but you're the one who, came up with this. So I was saying if you'll do a much better job of explaining it than I can.
So I find whenever I watch different people train, start to see one thing in common, and that was that people are performing an exercise to perform an exercise, meaning what they're thinking is they're taking a weight from point A to point B and then back down again. And they're judging their own progress by how many pounds they can do this for. And then they go, I did it for 10 reps. And I mean, that's cool. There is no sport for it. That would be like gym lifting, I suppose, where you do these maximal efforts because you're doing a lot of strain and damage onto your body. Whenever you do like a maximal effort and you allow your form to change, you allow your body positioning to change, you're doing damage. And I mean, that's okay if you're in a powerlifting contest. I'm all for it. I used to get nosebleeds to the floor when I was doing the lifts. And that's also why I stopped because I was like, this is very taxing. But that's just when I lifted the weights I needed to lift to beat the other people, my nose would bleed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then what I realized is if you take that approach all the time, eventually what happens is you get so strong that your muscles can do it, but suddenly your tendons can't. Or maybe you don't do that. Maybe you get a bone spur. A lot of, where you get the pointy bit on the elbow, that's a buildup of calcium just from all that wear and tear over all those years. And then that can tear your tendon. That happened to me. It tore the tendon off right there from the bone spur being there for years and years. So that kind of training is quite damaging. So you'll see a lot of people go, oh, I need to deload from training because they're imagining it's like a case of where I'm going to lift 20% less. And they're just seeing it like this performance sport. But eventually you're always going to get hurt. When in reality, if our goal is to stimulate the muscle, our goal is to put as much tension as possible into the muscle. And the good example I always give, Sam, and you can stop me whenever you want. I'm just rolling through
Yeah.
it.
Keep going.
Is if you take your bicep and you squeeze on your bicep, and I say just hold that squeeze, right? Within about 30 seconds, you'll be like, oh, I'm cramped up. You just did that without any weight at all. So of course you should be able to do that with any additional weight that you're using. The only reason that you're not managing that is because you haven't mastered the movement yet and you haven't learned how to really hone in and squeeze it. The bicep is easy. Everybody learns how to squeeze the bicep. Excuse me. But if they don't learn how to do it on the target muscle, every exercise is, it's its own thing. If you think
Yeah.
about powerlifting, they spend years dedicated to one thing. Let's say the bench press, the squat, the deadlift. While people who do bodybuilding, they go, oh, I just do one exercise for 3 sets and I'm good with it. So I start to realize that if we start thinking of the body more as like one whole unit and everything has to work together, that's what I started calling control training. And all that is, Sam, is I would take somebody, I'd say, here, we're on a bench press, take a 30-pound dumbbell. All right, hold it up there. Now I want you to imagine that it's not a 30-pound dumbbell, but it's a 35-pound dumbbell. Like it's a little heavier than it actually is. Then I don't want you to I don't want you to think I'm lowering the weight. Instead, I want you to think I'm pulling the weight back down to me using the antagonist, so the back muscles. And then on the way back, you're not letting go of the back muscles. You're just dragging and bringing it back up. And I found that if I had people do I don't know, 1 or 2 sets like that per exercise, especially at the beginning, maybe as a warm-up, even though I don't believe in warm-up sets. Every set, why don't you get to work? I mean, you can make a set painful without any additional weight. So as soon as you're using weight, why are you not making that set? Unless you are trying to hit a certain number as part of your program, okay,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
warm up quickly and then go and do it. But that's a different thing again. You have to ask, why are you doing that? And if you have a good reason to do that, then do that. But otherwise, your goal should be to stimulate the muscle as much as possible. And I found by doing this control training, simply controlling it, pulling it up and down, and imagining that the weight isn't even there. You're just doing this movement. The weight is just a passenger and doesn't affect the vehicle, so to say. And you are just dragging it up and down. If you do a set or two like that, Sam, the movements will be much smoother even when you go heavier and heavier, I find. So it's a great way just to really get the neurological connection with those muscles. So you make the actual exercise. So when you go heavier in the other sets, more productive.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I used to do powerlifting too. I did powerlifting for a few years before I switched over to bodybuilding, and it was kind of the same reason I switched is because I kept for like I started getting like really bad knee tendonitis, and I just kept pushing the weight up, and then trying to I like kind of take a break, try to fix it, try to do like some rehab at my knees, and then I get it
May
to a
I
point
ask
where
you a
like,
question?
yeah, yeah,
What was the thought in your mind that was telling you keep going?
I
Even
just
though
wanted it was just the ego thing of, like, trying to get bigger numbers for my squat. So, I kept, going back and forth until I was like, "No, I just need to stop," and then I spent, a few years, like, really having to fix it because I went from, squatting 375, and then I got the knee tendonitis got so bad I couldn't even squat, like, 2 plates without my knees hurting for, like, a week. So, it wasn't until I really focused on it and did, like, a bunch of stretches and, foam rolling my quads every day, working on my mobility in my hips and my ankles and proper rooting, proper bracing, because that was another part of it that I was like losing my foot pressure. My brace, I would lose my brace, then my hips would tilt, so that put more strain on my quads, which would pull on my knees. And so it wasn't until I put like all the pieces together and really focused on it for a couple years, then I finally got rid of the knee pain, and now I haven't had it for like 2 years from doing like all
what's
the right
happened here?
things. So that's why I'm so big on
Are you still there,
like
Sam?
if you
Just
want to, like you
your
said, if you wanna be
okay.
a powerlifter and you just wanna chase those things, then that's good, but if your goal is bodybuilding, then we can train this other way that's gonna be, like, not so damaging to the body.
I would agree, Sam, and that's what I've really watched you do as I've coached you over these last few months. Is the internet connection good for you right now?
Yeah, I think so sometimes it goes,
Y-
like,
a
kinda
li-
weird,
but
but it'll look good later. Yeah.
okay, because it's been smooth for me beside that one moment a moment ago. But I'm just is it good?
I think
Okay,
so. Yeah.
it seems to be because you're responding to me right away. So as long as it looks clear on your end, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was going to say, I watched you really improve your ability to connect with your body by learning, by dedicating yourself to the squat. And the squat is basically the ultimate proving ground as far as barbell sports. Besides, as soon as we start talking about the clean and jerk, we're talking about a skill sport more so than a strength sport. So, excuse me, as far as strength sports goes, the squat is the king. You dedicated yourself to that. You did it in your house with your kids watching you, putting in the great example. All these things, they all add together, Sam. And I watched you do that for months and improve. And I would give you tips and say, hey, why don't you work on this? And you kept putting it all together. And now look at the end result. You're looking the strongest I've seen you. You're looking the biggest
Yeah.
I've seen you. So
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, especially this new, like this new like I would say like squat variation because I kind of had always done well when I was powerlifting I did like low bar, and then when I switched to bodybuilding I did like high bar squats, but I kind of had been stuck in that same like squat pattern for so long. So you've kind of challenged me into doing it a different way, so I can because I've been working on opening up my hips. So that's what I've been working on the last few weeks that I've been getting better at. So it's good to even just change it up that way 'cause I'm still like, man, it's still so crazy on my quads. I still get such a great pump even though I get to like a different, variation.
because you're connecting with your quads.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
make my quads scream without any weight, just pulling myself down into that position. That's and then you add all that weight onto it like you are doing. Yeah, that's totally different to just allowing that weight to come down and then blast back up. So you're pulling yourself down into the position and then
Yeah.
coming back out of it.
Yeah. 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 If anyone else wants to try this, you'll see exactly what we're talking about once you start doing it, how challenging it can be with, like, no weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's because your body does weigh something. So those muscles, they're not used to doing that. When do you normally do that? You don't. So it's
Yeah.
very challenging to them. So yeah, I say a lot of people, they're thinking about doing squats. First, learn how to do good squats without any weight and really record yourself and look and go, am I doing a squat? Maybe post it up on social media if you're brave enough and say, does this look like a good squat? Because
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
if you do, otherwise, people will let you know.
For sure. They definitely will. Okay, awesome. That was a great explanation. So the other thing I kind of wanted to touch on was I know I was watching one of your other podcasts, and I know you said like training. What would you prioritize more of like if someone's trying to lose weight? I guess would be the better question. Like if their goal is to lose weight, what would you prioritize first? Is the new training or the nutrition?
I would say prioritize yourself, right? So prioritize yourself and do what can you still hear me? Seems to be dragging. I hear you now.
Okay,
Are you about to move? Yes, now I see you.
okay,
Now we're good again.
yeah, you froze like
I would
right when you're about to ask the question.
So I would say instead of saying, do I prioritize the training or do I prioritize the nutrition? I would say prioritize yourself. That means
Okay,
as you go through your life, as you make these different choices of what you put into your body, and do you decide to sit down or do you go for a walk? Just constantly prioritize doing what is challenging in the moment and maybe you don't feel like doing it right now, but you know that at the end of the day, when you look back at it, you'll give yourself two thumbs up and say, I'm glad that I did.
okay, I like that. That's good. That is challenging even for me sometimes when I know I need to get my steps, and then like, after I've, like, worked and everything and the kids, I'm just like, I just wanna sit down, but I usually my son needs to go outside, so then we still go outside for, like, an hour.
But then I would say for somebody like you, Sam, it's also knowing when you should just say, you know what, today it's enough.
Yeah,
And that's an important skill for you to learn. I know you can say, I get it all done no matter what. You had a schedule where you were sleeping like one night, 3 hours every week.
yeah,
It takes like 4 nights to recover. So you were never in an optimal state and you kept going. And that's a good thing. When you're young, hopefully you can. But then as we get older, we have to more and more prioritize, am I recovering? Not can I beat myself down more, but can I recover more? So
very true. Yeah, and I'm definitely not as young as I used to be.
none of us are.
Yeah, so, okay. Well, yeah, I also wanted to ask you, so, because I am getting older, I'm gonna be 37 this year, and I have been doing, TRT now for a few years, just because probably, I mean, even with me being as optimal as I can with my, training and nutrition and recovery, still, all the nights working on the railroad, it's gonna be hard. So that probably didn't help my, testosterone levels as long also, like, probably the environment, like, I've lived in Southern California with all the pollution and, my whole life of probably having too many microplastics, but that's a whole other thing. So all that stuff kind of accumulated, and, I've been on TRT now for a few years just because even with doing everything as best as I could, I feel like, I mean, my test levels were like under 300. So that's super bad for someone in their 30s. So what do you how can I ask? When would be like obviously for me that's like pretty low, but like when would you suggest people like try to do things like before they get on TRT, or do you think they should just see a doctor? What do you think?
So what I say is, obviously, I own part of Premier Hormone Clinic. I'm wearing their T-shirt here. So I am going to say that a TRT clinic and our clinic can be a really good way to go. And I'll tell you why. Because maybe you are somebody who's coming in and you're already kind of beaten down and you're kind of not where you are. I mean, where you were. Then you can use the supercharger. That's the injectable testosterone, supercharge. But then also, once you get to a certain level where you are where you're good, right? Let's be objective about things. As far as your life goes, your body and everything, you're good. Now, what we need is more health, more just that. But as far as everything goes, you are good. I mean, we are always striving for more with our training, but you have got your body away from that, not in where you want it to be to where you want it to be.
Yeah.
So at this point, there can always be the challenge of using some Clomid and then trying to see, can you recover your own testosterone
Hmm.
by using Clomid? And
Okay.
then if you can, let's say you can, then you just kind of taper off the Clomid and then see where you're at. And then maybe all these months down the road, it goes, no, you know what? I'm going to get back on the test. But I find just even taking that break, think about that break. No more jabbing in your, wherever you jab yourself. None, you don't have
Yeah.
to do that at all. You're giving yourself a nice break from that exogenous test. Now, is Clomid the way forever? No, I don't think so. But I think if you get your body to a great shape where you're, this is good, and like, I'm where I want to be, then that can be a way to see, hey, what happens? Can I transition away from this and stay where I want to be? And, it's, how easy it is to get if anything back that you ever lose. I don't really think you'll lose anything. I think you lose a couple of pounds of water, but I don't think anything else goes away. I think you continue making progress because I think people are in some ways addicted to that component of this. And, at the extreme levels to make these extreme things, then yes, that's from because that's beyond what is possible. But
Yeah.
what is possible for you is to improve where you are at. Absolutely. That's regarding your nutrition, your training, and your sleep. And then someone says, well, if his testosterone is at nil all the time, yeah, that would suck. But I
Yes.
don't think that'll be the case. And I've never seen that. I've seen it's low, and then you can take Clomid, which should take it up, and maybe it doesn't take it up. Maybe you do a retest and you go, it's low. But the only reason you would do that is because you were feeling some kind of way to start with. So, there's a good chance that you really won't. And I have thought that many times. I always thought one of the more damaging things people did was these massive fluctuations with the hormones. It's just like at the end of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
day, it's a drug you're putting into your body, and you've used it as this super powerful tool to get yourself to this. This is superb. What realistically, what more do you want? You have what you want. Now you're working to improve. That's
Yeah.
different than I have to carve from this blob, or I
Yeah.
have to get this thing. Yeah, that's the difference. And one because doing that takes so much. Like it takes so much to do it. Is it possible without? Yeah, it is
Yeah.
possible without, but the difference is huge. And I have seen it. I've seen it with clients who lost over 200 pounds. And when they ended up really strong. And, they had some loose skin and stuff, but very different. And I've seen people who have done it without, and they also got good, but the end result was very different. I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point that you touched on is, like, not having your hormones, like, fluctuate so much because if you're always messing with like that, especially if you can, like, mess with your like, depending how much you aromatize, then it'll mess with your estrogen levels, and then that will make you feel a whole different way. It can crush your libido, or then you can go the whole, like, other way, and then you end up with gyno. So there's a whole other, like, host of problems when if you're not doing it correctly, like you said, under the supervision of a doctor with Premier, that you can really mess up your hormones that way also.
I mean, these are very powerful tools. I mean,
Yeah.
no one says these things are risk free. I mean, these are, there is a reason there is a stigma behind it. I think the stigma is incorrect, but it's like, yes, with any drug, Sam, if you take a lot of it, you're going to have a problem. It's just how it
Yeah.
goes. And people have a culture of just taking and I think a lot of it is because a lot of stuff people get is just kind of garbage, to be honest. That's what I think it is. Because I'm like, if you took that, I don't know, everybody responds differently to stuff, but I just
Yeah.
personally, for me, I never that was never the limiting factor. The limiting factor wasn't like I needed to take more stuff to keep getting bigger. The limiting factor was I got so big, I couldn't handle being that big. Like I
Okay.
couldn't, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't all this.
Yeah.
That was excuse me, it was never a limiting factor of like, oh, I've got to this big and I can't get any bigger. So now I need to take extra stuff. It was never like that. And it was kind of really arbitrary what I even took because it would be wherever I started from and I'd come up with some kind of an idea and then I do it. But the end destination, I think, was always kind of the same. It all
Mhm.
depends on how much you're training, if you're really maximizing that. Like my best growth ever, I was training like 3 days a week because the gym was a 1 hour commute one way without traffic, and there usually was traffic. So we went 3 times a week. We
Oh,
would train
man.
for yeah, and I trained for 3 hours. And this was
Okay, there you go.
like the Texas Metroplex gym, the famous Ronnie Coleman gym.
Yeah.
It's known for being so hot. Well, this is in Columbia, South Carolina. This had no AC. This was
Okay.
just we're talking still 110 at least. And they go, oh, it gets even hotter. Hot is hot. It was hot.
Yeah.
And I would literally have 3 shirts. I would change the shirts during the workout because they would get so drenched in sweat.
Oh,
And that was
yeah.
my best progress ever. And like, it didn't take a lot of anything. I got massive. And then I was like, okay, now I have to stop because I'm now choking in my sleep constantly because my traps and everything are so big. I can't
Yeah.
sleep anymore. And for me, Sam, for me, it's always about being like superhuman. I want to be better, faster, stronger, not like handicapped. And
Yes.
if I need a machine to help me sleep, I am handicapping myself with my own body. That seems ridiculous. So for
Yeah.
me, that's why I've had periods of time where I got real jacked, like yeah, real big. I got to 237, 6% on the DEXA scan at 5'8". I mean, that's plenty big. You're not going to say, that's not plenty of size. So
Yeah.
and I could have kept going from there. But and for me, excuse me, Sam. For me, I always thought the people who need to take so much stuff. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, Sam. I just don't think they must be using real pharmaceuticals or something in their body must really not have effects. Or, and this is a bigger fact, they do just not put a care in the world to what's happening with their health. So they don't test their
Yeah.
blood sugar, they don't test their blood pressure. And if you actually tested them, you'd be like, oh, because I've had some people like that. You just give them a test. They're like, "Oh, you're 180 over 110 walking
Jesus.
around. That's good. Yeah,
God. Yeah.
yeah." So
Yeah.
that's what I've seen. I mean, so these things are powerful medications, and if you take too many of them, yeah, it destroys you pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think 'cause, like you said, everyone's gonna respond differently, so there's gonna be some people that are more, like, hyper responders to it, and then there's gonna be some people that need to take some more, but, yeah, in those
But
cases, they're just probably just taking, like,
but
way too much, and
what I would say to that, Sam, is I'd say no. I say, show me how this person trains because I owned a gym for 8 years. I had
yeah.
at any time about 400 members. About five of them maybe train correctly,
Mm,
correctly for their
okay.
muscles, and they had a physique to show it. Everybody
Yeah.
else who thinks they train, they're not training correctly. So their response to the drug is they're expecting the drug to do something that it's just not going to do. These things enhance like your ability to hyper recover, but first you have to put that effort into the body. Otherwise, what do you think you're going to get out of it? You might get a little
Yeah.
bigger looking, sure, because that's what they do that. But
Yeah.
then you go, well, I thought I would get more out of this, and it's like, really, why?
Yeah, I guess that's a very good point. Yeah, as I mean, even, like, the gyms I go to, like, I just see people doing stuff, and I'm just questioning, like, what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you can any if you've been in the gym for any amount of time, you can look at somebody and go, "Okay, they're doing bench press. Is their chest actually moving?" That's the first thing you ask.
Yeah.
And often the answer is no. So then you go, "Okay, so they are doing this movement for the sake of doing the movement. Their chest itself isn't their target. Maybe they think it is, but
Mhm.
no, in reality, moving that weight is their target. Otherwise,
Yeah,
their chest will be doing something very different."
correct. Yeah. So, I mean, but then, we don't know if they're powerlifting or not, but usually,
Yeah, well,
yeah, they
absolutely.
yeah.
Depends on your goal. Your
Yeah.
goal might be to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you can't complain when you don't have a good chest.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, because I did not have a very good chest when I was doing powerlifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't build
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I also have, like, kinda longer arms, so though, like, my bench press was never very good. Yeah, because with the coach I had at the time for powerlifting, he'd watch my training videos, and he's like, "Dude, it takes me forever to watch you bench press." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm doing it. Imagine how I feel."
Yeah, that's a weird I don't know, that's a funny comment. That's a funny comment.
Yeah, I'm like, "Well, because you have, like, longer arms too, so it's easier to deadlift than to bench press."
Dude, here's the thing, right? If you wanna be a competitive powerlifter, you have to work on your spinal mobility like crazy because you need to learn how to arch as much as possible if your goal is competitive powerlifting. And
Yeah.
obviously, there might be a point where now your spine gets too compromised. You'd have to that's why it's dangerous. That's why it's an extreme sport, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, that's what you'd have to do. Like, if you look at anyone who deadlifts and benches a lot, they're usually arching pretty dramatically. And as soon as you get that big arch, think of the difference as far as what has to happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good point. That was Yeah, that was, definitely something I'd like I didn't have, like, ever, like, a super crazy arch, though, when I bench pressed. I just had, like, a smaller one.
You
Yeah.
could have learned how to get a bigger one,
Yeah, but I didn't wanna take it, like, that far where, like, I'd only bench for, like, 2 inches of, like, range of motion or something.
but that would have made you more competitive.
True. That's very true. I guess, I don't know.
Dude,
And
either you're look how I see it when I compete to win. End of story. So whatever any advantage that can be taken and it's legal, I take it, of course.
okay. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
Because it's a sport. These are men trying to make me look silly. I
Okay.
don't I don't wanna stand next to them and say, "Hey, you're stronger than me." I'm like, ah, I'm not going to bend my back as much because I need to have a bigger bend. I want to push it further because it's more manly. And then I got to stand next to this guy and he gets the first place. No thanks.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point of view, actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Well, in that case, not whatever it takes if it means destroying yourself, and that's what a lot of people think it's. I don't mean like that, but yeah, if I can bend my back more and then make it smaller, then I'll do it.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I had some other questions I forgot now.
So, Sam, tell me about
Yeah.
yourself. Tell me about
Yeah.
yourself. What is your 2-year goal? Tell me about this podcast. I didn't,
Okay.
tell me some stuff.
Okay. That works. That works. So I wanted to start this podcast to like talk to more people. I like listening to podcasts myself, and so I was kind of thinking maybe I should just start one. I've had a few other guests on so far, like some other coaches that I know, that I've been friends with for like a year. Um, and just really trying to put myself out there more, so everyone can kind of learn, like, well, I mean, I want to show off like my guests, but then I'm also planning on doing some like where it's just me talking about like certain subjects just to educate more people. I just haven't got around to doing those quite yet. But the goal, actually, I'm not sure if I really set a goal specifically for the podcast though. I would like to get, I guess one goal I can set is like to get to like 500 subscribers. That's a good goal right now.
You need to get to 1,000, and it's hard. I got to a
Okay.
thousand, but for me it was a grind. And I have a big
Okay.
I have a big enough Instagram. It's like a good Instagram, but
Yeah.
yeah, YouTube's you got to grind on that. I actually found that doing lives is really useful for that.
Okay, you do lives on YouTube?
I have done. Like I got into it for a while and then I stopped doing it because I was getting up with Camilla and we were doing it. But yeah, each live you just ask for people to sub a few times and they do. So literally that was for
Okay.
me. It wasn't what took me over 1,000, but it was given me like another 100 in a
Well, that's pretty good.
yeah. No, that I think for me that is with the percentages I'm working at. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, though. I do need to do, like, more lives.
Dude, listen, listen.
Yeah.
You live the freaking lifestyle for it. You put it live if your
Yeah.
wife is okay with it
Yeah.
when you're doing your squats and stuff. Just angle it that, you'd have to explain it to her what you're doing and make because some people, Nicole doesn't love it. So, you know what, some people don't love that. But there are many people who are doing similar to what you're doing and they do these workout videos where they're just looking at the camera, they're talking to it and they're doing their sets. So basically, what you already do, and
Yeah.
the fact that you have a family in the background makes it a really good, wholesome kind of thing. You'll still get some weird comments. Like I've had
Yeah.
comments, people saying that Camilla's my girlfriend and stuff. Stuff it's like you read it
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, but overall, it'll be much more wholesome because people, that's not cool if there's like kids in the thing to just be really rude to the person who's doing the fitness. But I'm telling you, that's the perfect setup for that, and you will get subs.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to do that. I've done that a few times, like, on TikTok. I've done, like, TikTok lives and, like,
I've never
um
done TikTok, so yeah.
yeah, I've just because I it just depends what I found is kinda weird is because I post pretty much when I make a reel, I post it across, like, every platform, like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and, like, YouTube, and, like, all the algorithms are different, so, like, they do like, something that'll do really good on Instagram, like, won't do good on TikTok, and then something it'll be the opposite, like, something that'll do, like, really bad on Instagram will do really good on TikTok, so I have no clue, like, how each algorithm is, like, so different. And then I also just I'll randomly like stuff on YouTube will just do really good, and then it won't do good on anything else. So I don't know. It's really weird. It's the same exact thing across like 5 platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. I just do the Instagram, the YouTube. I have the Facebook linked up as well, but like
Yeah.
I'm not that. I'm the last person to ask on that kind of advice. I just, I don't get that many. The thing is, when I look at the people who view it, these are people I consider people. Put it that way. They're
Yeah.
like often they're people in some way recognize. It's like it's a good crowd of people. So even when a story only has a few hundred views in a day, at least I can look and I'm like, that's a good solid crowd of people. So when it's doing well, it's in the thousands. But if it's only in the hundreds, then it's like it's all about who you're watching. Because think at the end of the day, you could have 100 followers. If 20 of those are your clients, that's pretty good. You know what I
Yeah. Oh,
mean?
yeah. Mhm.
You see these people who have 100,000s, and then they're like, they don't have many clients. So
Yeah.
I've got
True.
one of my old clients, Austin Hodges. He has a really good online business, and he built it. He did all these different classes online. these things, the things that I would consider like a waste and a scam, but he's put it all together and he has a very good system. And he only has a couple of thousand followers, but yeah, a very good business with different layers to it and everything. So
Yeah, yeah, I follow him too. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, I've been following him. I've been following him for like a long time since he was like one of your clients. So it's been a few years now since I think
yeah,
that was before he was even a coach.
yep,
Yeah. But yeah,
I think it is.
he's doing good. I like his content.
But like I said, it's not a huge channel or anything compared to you
Yeah,
see some of
no.
these and you go, or it's like all these people, if you get so many views, but do these views help you in any way?
Yeah, no, it's more that's not one of the really the metrics. I mean, it's nice that so many people saw it, but if no one's really actually engaging with it, then it's not really doing anything. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because that's I've noticed because like some just from the coaches that like other coaches I know, usually the ones that are doing pretty well are people like Austin where they don't have that like a huge following. It's like the ones that actually have a huge following or you would think would be doing really well, but they're not always.
Not always.
Yeah.
They sometimes are. Like
Yeah.
I've just realized that it just depends who your audience is. You see these thousands of followers next to your thing, but are these people then that interact with your stuff? And
Yeah.
I don't mean likes either. Like I have pictures that have 100 likes. I have a picture that 4,000. That doesn't matter. What matters is what happens in your DM box.
Yes,
Or if you have
exactly.
a link, right? If you have a link, how much is that link getting pressed? All the other things are just kinda like they kinda give you an idea of what's happening, but think
Yeah.
it's such a small percentage of these people who are watching end up, buying from you, so to say, that you nearly don't even worry about how many people it is. You're just hoping that you're appealing to the right person.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I feel like I'm working on is, like, trying to talk to, like, the right people, and like, hopefully the right people are hearing my message, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it'll naturally grow. It always does.
Yeah. I just have to keep doing it.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's
dude,
not
that's
gonna
no,
it's not
it
gonna
does
grow if I
take.
don't do it.
Dude, I had my account hacked and I had to make a new one, and I spent literally every waking moment for 7 days just to make it look like an account. Like, it's
Yeah.
such a massive pain in the ass. It's so but you just have just stay consistent with it, whatever method you choose. Yeah, for me, I've always used the stories, and that's always worked for me. I mean, it really has. I mean, could some stuff work better? Absolutely, but you just have to find whatever kind of starts working for you and just keep repeating.
Yeah. I have noticed that. Like, I don't like, when I go on social media, I don't really, like, look at a lot of people's, like, stuff, but I'm, like, always watching your stories even still.
Well,
It's
thank
always,
you.
like, good stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I still like screenshot like some of the ones. If you don't follow him, you'll if once you start following him, you'll see he posts like a lot of text on his stuff. So usually I'll screenshot it so then I can always like save it for later and read it. It's a lot of good information. Even before I hired you as a coach, you had put up like some like like a meal plan kind of thing and also like a training plan. I had screenshotted both of those and used those.
Good. And you
Yeah.
like it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, good.
I did the training plan for like several months before I hired you.
That's smart. If you ask me,
Yeah.
that's very smart. I would
Yeah.
do the same thing. I'm like, I always think it's crazy. I just think it's crazy how and why people hire coaches because to me, I have to like, there are why would I want to give somebody money for them to tell me what to do? Who are they? Like,
Mhm.
that's how I see it. I'm like, it really to me is it's like that's a really personal kind of crazy thing. It's like, wow, this person impresses me so much that I want to pay them money for them to tell me what I already kind of know I need to do but because they tell me, I'm gonna listen to frick and I'm gonna do it. So I mean, it's this. You got to have that energy back and forth because you got to be able to not so much. You see people kind of fake selling themselves. It's like you don't. It's not about telling people how great you are. It's just about being you and just doing your life. And hopefully, that's something that's respectable enough that somebody else goes, yes, this person knows what they're talking about. Let me give them some of my hard-earned money, and we know it's harder to get by the day as everything goes up in price. So it's a big deal if somebody wants to give you money for your coaching.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on too is to show, like, more I guess you could say, like, authenticity, like, show more of my life so it can be more relatable to everyone. Because if I'm trying to coach, other parents like myself, they're not gonna know they wouldn't be able to, I guess, like, trust me as much if I'm not showing that, like, I'm going through, like, this like, similar things.
What would you like to see?
But, like, what
If
would
you
I
were hiring you, what would you like to see?
Oh, man, that is a good question. I think because I do post, the more, like, informative stuff, and I think I would like to see more of, like, the day-to-day things, which I know I take the videos of, and then I'll forget to post it on my story. There's so much stuff going on. I know I need to be better about that
Why
part.
don't why don't you just do it from the Instagram camera?
Well, I guess I could. I would just put everything in, like, my camera roll because usually I'll
Yeah,
take,
but
like, videos.
then it clogs up the camera like crazy. I have that
Mm.
issue all the time. You just go
Ah,
and do it from Instagram. So you go and you just record the story while it's happening, and then it's
yeah,
usually better anyway because otherwise you're trying to script it and everything. No, just record it, and then
yeah. Okay, let me try that. I'm gonna try that then.
I like to do that.
Okay, okay. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. I'm gonna do that then. Because even for, yeah, because then when you do that, it doesn't save it to your camera roll, it just saves it. It
No,
doesn't, yeah, it
that's
just,
right. That's why I
yeah.
like to do that's like if it some clips obviously don't make sense. Some you have to set it up and record. But if it's
Mhm.
something you can just clip out, like if it's one of those videos where where I'm like freaking in the stop and go traffic and I'm just holding it and I'm filming it,
Yeah.
I'm always surprised people don't give me shit over that. I'd probably give me shit over that, but no one ever does. But I do that straight from I do that straight from the Instagram screen. I'm just holding that button down.
Okay, okay. Okay, I'm gonna try that then. I do that sometimes, like, when I do, like, the Q&As, but that's really the only time.
If
Yeah.
I do it all the time and then it doesn't go on my camera roll.
Okay. And then it saves you some space because I am running out of storage on my phone. Okay.
I now have 2 phones, and I now have 2 one for
Yeah.
WhatsApp and one for freaking pictures. They're 2
Okay.
old it's, that yeah.
Yeah, that's, like, what I'm gonna end up having to do if I get if I don't change something.
Dude, take your time. I'm free, so you talk away. As long as you wanna go, I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, actually,
Y
I had, like, blocked out, like, a couple hours
Yeah,
just in
good.
case.
Let's do it. I blocked out my morning. I didn't train this morning because I didn't wanna, possibly be low energy. I took a modafinil. I'm good. Premier hormone can get you a good one. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that as a plug, but there you go, guys. There's a plug.
I meant to take one this morning and I spaced it out.
Well, that's good you did. It's always you can always take another one some other day.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
because
no,
those last,
I'm
like, all day, so that's why I meant to
yeah,
take it first, but I'll probably just have one tomorrow.
yeah, that's it.
I
Don't have
only I
one
only Yeah, how often do you I only take them maybe, like, just a couple times a week.
at most. I because dude, I get like 1 or 2 things per month I can ask for. I've never tried for asking for more, so
Okay.
I get like different stuff depending on the month. So I try and make it last for as I don't know, 1 bottle that has to last at least 6 months, and that's, Nicole takes
Okay.
a few. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm not I so a lot of weeks I wouldn't say once a week even. Like it's just sometimes, like for a
Yeah, like,
podcast.
whenever you, like, feel like you're gonna need it.
Yeah, just for a bit, like, just at no moment as I'm sitting in this chair will I get a sleepy feeling. That's what I like,
Mm.
and I'm sitting
Yeah.
here, I got my legs reclined here, and I'm talking to you. I don't wanna at any point start just it's easy to start feeling sleepy, so the
Yeah.
modafinil just make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's good. Yeah, because I was on, using Premiere for a little while, and then, I just switched when, I guess it would have been, like, a little over a couple years ago because I was using them for a couple years, maybe longer. No, wait, it had to have been my son's, I think it was, like, 3 years I was using them. I was using Premiere, and then I switched because, I needed more help with, my fertility, because so it was just the way, I don't know if it changed now, but at the time, for some reason, I couldn't get the HCG from them anymore because it would, like, you couldn't ship to another state. So I don't know, like, at first they could, but it's not their fault. It was, I guess Congress, like, passed a law that you can't ship HCG across state lines for some reason. They just did that. So I had been getting the HCG, like, prescribed from them, but then that happened, so I couldn't. So that's why I found a doctor here in Texas that could prescribe it. And so when we wanted to get pregnant, we got pregnant, like, right away. And then so I was taking that, but now that we have our 2 kids and we're not gonna have any more, I can switch back to the Clomid. So that's why I actually need to make an appointment with them so I can go back to using Premier because they're really great, and they can, like he said, you can get, like, other things, like the armodafinil, like, not just your testosterone and, your Clomid and HCG and stuff.
Yeah, and literally you can do a pre-consult with them, and you can do, like, a one-time order of something if you want something. You don't have to sign up for TRT, guys.
Okay,
Without
okay,
yeah,
that's even better, yeah.
if there's something you wanted to get, just you do the Skype call, it's free, you set it up on the website, they'll talk to you for 15 minutes. They're to help you out. They make money when
Yeah,
you get that, so you're gonna get what you want.
yeah, yeah,
Unless you have some major red flags in front of you. Like, I mean, you need to have blood work from the past year and certain stuff like that, depending what you want. But if you don't have that, they can get that prescribed. They'll get that called in for you. And I know for a fact we don't make any money on the blood work, so you know you're getting a very good deal. And if you get something better and you can use it, then you just need to show that. But yeah, you don't need to be signing up for anything. There's many different options, so you can get what you want to get.
Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, that just reminds me I need to do that still.
Yeah, but the only thing I always say, Sam, and this is just my way of thinking. I always just keep the script going as far
Mhm.
as the testosterone, no matter what, because I like to stockpile it. These drugs are getting hard. I'm like, if people really knew what happens, and I'm not going to get into it. This used to be a topic that interested me, and I have a lot of friends. I'm not going to get into that, but if people really knew what they're getting in a lot of these cases of these people who are just not getting stuff from pharmacies, they really wouldn't want to take it. I just leave it like that.
Oh, yeah.
You just wouldn't want to do it. So if you can get this prescription testosterone, you pay the $150 or whatever it is per month, and you get this bottle every 10 weeks. That's
Mhm.
stacking up. You can put
Yeah.
that in your drawer. That's not going to go bad for literally decades. Literally. That's not something that goes bad. You store it away, you save it up. You never know when you might use something like that if you're in this lifestyle. That's all I'm saying. And then you
Mhm.
also have a script, which means if, God forbid, something bad would happen with the law, you have at least a reason to have something. And that's much better than not having a reason to have anything and having a lot of stuff that you shouldn't.
Very good points. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because that's not like I've only ever done um TRT for that reason. I've like kind of like been scared to try to get stuff other than like with through a pharmacy. Yeah. So, but that's just me. That's just my personal choice.
Yes, and then you have to think about it. How easy is it to get stuff through a pharmacy? Not that easy. That's why you get on a script like that,
Mhm.
and then you save it up in the background. So let's say you want to do some clomid therapy, sure, but still save up the testosterone. To me, it's just like I don't know why aren't people thinking like I'm thinking. If you like this, this is like the quality good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you
Yeah.
wanna save it up while you can when you get a subscription on it legally to your house?
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, it's like, I don't know, it's just people then go, "Well, the price." I'm like, "Yeah, guys, the good stuff always costs a lot. That's just how it goes." And this, if you compare to other places, this is I know the markups is very, very, very reasonable. So, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
there's some stuff, guys, that I'll say, like, that is very expensive from a place like that, and that's not because the place is making a ton of money in a lot of cases. But then I have looked at other uh, places, places that prescribe various things. Their prices are actually outrageous, if you ask me. They're just slapping on hundreds of dollars for no reason.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
I
mean, this is bare bones, but you're getting everything that you need. You're getting the doctor supervision, you're getting the legal script, you're getting all of that. You're paying it. Yes, that does cost something, so you pay for that, but you're not getting raked over the coals like with so many other places that I've seen. It's just crazy. Like
yeah.
I've dealt with a couple, and you know that from following me for a long time, Sam. There was another company years ago, and I was very unhappy with them. So
That's right. Yeah, because before I worked with, Premiere, I'd gone to, like, another one when I was living in California, and it was, like, double I think it was, like, double the price of Premiere.
yeah, and why?
Yeah, for the
Th
same thing.
th th you For your purposes of why you want it, this is actually a very affordable place to do it. That's what I try and tell people. Like, if you
Yeah,
want some extra perks and frills that maybe come from some place in California, I don't know what they're doing, but as far as what you're getting in the mail, this
yeah,
is the same thing. It's the same, it's from the same pharmacies that make these things, so
yeah, yeah, exactly.
what is the most recent thing you have learned in regards to nutrition that you have implemented into
Mhm.
your own life that has had a benefit? What has that been?
Um, oh, you know what is I think over, like, the past year that I've implemented for myself, is actually having, like, more fats in my diet, because I used to keep my fats, like, really low, but I've been able to still be in good shape with actually probably, like, doubling my fats, because I used to only eat, like, like, a couple eggs in the morning, like, whole eggs in the morning, and most of it would be, like, egg whites, and then, like, a lot more, like, chicken breast. I used to do, like, probably, like, 3 or 4 meals of chicken breast, but now I do, the 5 whole eggs a day, and then I'm doing ground beef, like once or twice a day, sometimes salmon, and then adding in like having the UDO's oil or something else like every day. So like all that, you'd think. I used to think that like adding in all those extra fats would just make me fat, but it didn't.
Sam,
Yeah,
that's exactly my diet that you're reciting. Yeah,
yeah,
that's exactly how I eat myself. You know,
yeah,
you eat those 5 eggs cover basically like a multivitamin. I don't trust any of those pills that say they have all that stuff in it. Just because it
yeah,
makes your pee turning yellow, that tells me nothing besides that there's something that my body couldn't process that's now getting pushed out.
yeah,
Think
yeah,
about it. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Why would that make sense? And so I think the eggs cover that. And then you're eating the beef, you're intersecting that with the salmon. So you're having the two different types of fats, which is very important for your cellular health and growth. And you're doing the udu's oil, which is a great blend of different, vegan fatties. It's just a really good blend. I first saw that it was like 25 years ago in a bodybuilding magazine. It was this natural bodybuilder, he was the most shredded person I've ever seen, just like super shredded. And he had his diet. And every day, no matter what, he took 2 tablespoons of udu's oil. And
okay,
I was like, that's 30 grams of fat. That's 270 calories. He's so lean. And he said a big part of his success was eating that, because when you're so lean, your brain needs these certain fats and it can't pull them because they're not in your body anymore. There's no fat left. So
that makes sense.
by giving it the udu's oil, your brain can actually keep functioning correctly. And
Okay,
I've utilized that a lot of my life. And you put that on the salad in the evening with just add in some berries, whatever you can get, whatever you can afford, you get it, you
yeah,
put it into a salad, some pieces of nuts, all that stuff, and you just eat it up. And that's your brain, guys. Your brain needs so much fuel. So if you're not giving it, chicken and rice, that's for your muscles. That's not for your
yeah,
brain.
yeah. I think the other thing that I learned is also like I tried, I tried doing like keto before. I've tried like a bunch of different diets, like the intermittent fasting, and just none of it worked as well. Like not like as well, especially not the intermittent fasting. I just get so hungry, so that I was just miserable. But like the keto, because like you said, your brain needs the fats, but also needs like a certain amount of carbs every day.
Yeah, it needs
So
100 grams. Yeah.
yeah, so if you're like really going like super low, like that's gonna be damaging for your brain and also just gonna wreck your um like metabolism too and your like thyroid health. Like if you do that, continue that long term. Like there's reasons to do it. I can see if you're pre-diabetic or something and you can't be metabolizing the sugar, then I could see you doing keto for a little bit until you get that under control. But then you need to work on your body being able to process those carbs again.
You know what I'll say, Sam? The best example for this is fitness influencers. Fitness influencers have to keep such a lean body, right? Most of them burn the frick out after a few years. They lose their sanity. They lose because what happens is your body, when it's so lean, it needs dopamine. It's like it's seeking it. So these people start getting hooked on drugs and other
Mm,
stuff in order to be able to stay so lean. Then you have somebody like Mike O'Hearn. Mike O'Hearn has gone the longest in the fitness industry. If you look how he eats a lot of food. He has periods where he eats a lot less, but overall, the man eats a lot of food and he is always consistent with it. So his body has lasted. It has not fallen apart on him. While all
mhm.
these other influencers literally lose their brain. Think about it. Any influencer from year 1 to year 5, no matter who it is, they've gone off the deep end. They've lost it. And
Yeah.
I really think that's simply because they're not fueling their body correctly.
Yeah. I think that's like the big like one of the big things I focus on like with my coaching is like you said fueling the body. Because a lot of people they just focused on like losing the weight, but some people have come to me and they're eating like one meal a day, they're barely having anything, and then they kind of get worried because I'm like, okay, well, I can't cut your calories anymore. You're barely eating anything, so I need to have you like eat food and like a lot of good food, and I have to like walk them through it because they get nervous that they're going to gain weight. Like I just had one client with this, and then I built her calories up, and then so she can actually be eating good nutritious food, and then she started losing the weight. And I'm like, Your body needs nutrients. You need to be fueling it. You can't like that's why you were stuck." Yeah.
Think about it, Sam. If a big obese person comes to you, they have a number that they weigh. They aren't happy with how they look. They believe that if that number changes to a certain number, they will be happy with how they look.
Yeah.
To start with, you don't even know where their body is at. You don't know how much of them is muscle. Until
Mhm.
you actually start training those muscles and getting those fibers activated, we don't even know what is fat. We don't know what is muscle. We just know we have a person with a lot of stuff in front of us. They don't have a shape to the body. Everything is kind of drooping. We've got
Mhm.
to get to work at it. If you're only focused on depleting the body, taking out resources, fat is a resource, obviously. All you're
Yeah.
doing is stripping it, and you are not working on the health of the body. You will eventually lose weight. Losing weight's not hard. That's called dying. You continuously get smaller and then you're gone. So
Okay.
just getting
Yeah.
smaller and smaller, that's like, okay. And then I think when you get old, what happens? You keep getting smaller and smaller and then you're gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people implode. Think of Milos. You're a bodybuilding fan. He said
Yeah.
he used to be like 5'11". Now he's 5'8".
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And he always holds perfect posture. So literally, the shrinking with age, he's lost 3 inches. So I mean, it's just crazy how it works. But I see it. I see
Yeah.
it with people. Because you train them and you train their upper back muscles, and suddenly they're sitting up so much taller and straighter. Our height is so much. It's fluid to start with, but we lose it. And if we just focus on just stripping away, and we're not giving the body nutrients, we're not training the body, then okay, we end up with a smaller body, and that may be healthier just because it's smaller, but it won't be healthier because you worked on it.
Yeah. I mean, I've even made that mistake before when I was still newer to lifting. Like um, the first time because I when I first started working out, it was probably like 12, 13 years ago, I think now. Um, and it was after
Sam, let me
yeah,
stop
yeah.
you. What
Okay.
what started you? What was day one of weight training for you, and
Yeah.
what made you decide to do that?
So what made me decide to do that, it was a couple things. I was getting a divorce and I used to be like always like super skinny. And then I had gotten and I thought I was like still a size small in my head. And then I got a shirt for my birthday and it was a large. And I was like, well, that's rude. Why would you give me a large shirt? And then it fit me. And I was like, oh gosh. So, and I realized then I weighed myself and I like most like I thought for a long time, I was always like one in the 160s and I was like 210. So that was when I was like, okay, I need to work out. And luckily I was hanging out with a couple friends and they said they were going to start working out in their garage and asked if I wanted to join them, and I said, "Yes, yes, I do."
And
So
what were those early workouts like?
so we would do like a 3-mile run, and then we'd go into the garage, and I think we were doing like a push pull leg split. I think yeah, I'm pretty sure we got like from like a influencer online. We were following like one of his workout plans, but I'm pretty sure it was like a push pull leg split, and we were
And
working out like 6 days a week.
what made you decide that influencer was who you were going to listen to?
It was just my friend, like, he had already been following him, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this workout," and I was like, "Okay, that's" like, he had already, like, done some weightlifting, so, like, the other 3 of us were like, "Oh, we'll just listen to you because you've, like, worked out before and we haven't."
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what we did, and it was, like, a few months, I think I lost, like, 40 pounds because I switched from eating like, my diet was horrible. It was like I was, like, only eating fast food, I didn't cook, like, any of my own meals. I was drinking a bunch of soda every day and, like, energy drinks to drinking, like, only water and eating and then, like, cooking all of my meals. Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it, for sure. It wasn't like and then we would just go to, like we would get Subway, like, once a week with me and my friends after we worked out, we get Subway.
I used to do that too. And
Yeah.
if it was a very good week, Domino's, but only once.
Okay. No, I don't think we ever did Domino's.
That was me
That was
kind of
that's pretty good.
that was like
Yeah,
my breakdown meal when I was like,
yeah.
I really need something, so it would be a Domino's.
Okay, that's fair.
But one
Yeah, just
pizza
one.
only. Just one
Okay,
pizza.
that's good. Just one. Just one. Just one whole pizza for yourself.
'Cause yeah, and it was the largest one, but yes, just one.
Yeah, still, just one it's just one. It's just one
Yeah, just one.
pizza. So, yeah, I did that, and then, I had stayed that, like, I had stayed good for a while, and then there was a phase where so I lost that weight, and then I actually did, like, a tattoo apprenticeship for several months, and that
And what made
was
you wanna do that? What made you wanna do that?
so I had already been friends with the tattooer for several years. He'd already done most of my tattoos, and, like, I'm artistic and, like, I play drums, like, I'm good in, like, that sense of being artistic. I mean, I used to draw when I was younger, but I never thought I was, like, amazing, but he had been asking me if I wanted to do it for a little while, and my ex, like, kept saying no, so then now that I was single, he said asked me again if I wanted to apprentice under him, so I was like, "Yeah." So I was working at the railroad during the day and then working at the tattoo shop at night, and then, I was gonna transition just to doing that, like, to tattooing full time, but it kinda just got in, like, kind of a messy situation with, like, him and some stuff he was doing, so I ended up quitting the apprenticeship and then moving down. I got a job with a railroad down in, like, the Port of LA and Long Beach. So, like, I
Was this illegal activity?
yeah, yeah.
So you just wanted to keep yourself on the straight and frickin' narrow, so you
Yeah,
situated yourself. That's a smart thing. Good,
yeah,
good.
it was kind of bad because he was such a good friend of mine, I'm trying to, like, keep him out
Need
of it.
say no more.
So, I ended up quitting that, which I know, like, like, in that industry, you're not really supposed to kinda quit those things, but I kinda needed to. So that whole time I was still, like, kind of working out, but obviously not really because I wasn't barely sleeping, so, we know that's not very good. So, once I moved down to Long Beach, I started working out again. I met, someone at the gym who did powerlifting, and that's who got me into powerlifting, and so I was like, "Okay, well, I need to get bigger, so I need to eat to get stronger," right? And so, in in my head, I was, like, doing it, like, pretty gradually, but now looking back, this was only, a few months. So I was like, "Oh, I need to gain weight." I was like, "I'm not gaining weight fast enough." And in my head, it was, like, taking such a long time for me to gain weight, so I was eating, like that's when I was it was so bad. I was going to, like, Costco to get, like, pizza and everything to push my weight up. So then I just got, like, fat. And it was funny because I thought that was, like, when I just started dating my wife now, and she said she would, like, see me, and every time she see me, I was just, like, fatter. But in my head, it was, like, months and months of me trying to put on weight, and she's like, "No." It was like, "Every couple weeks I see you and you're just fatter." And I was like, "Oh, no." So, after that happened, I
But
was like,
hold
"Okay."
on, hold on,
Yeah,
hold on. Were you
okay.
getting stronger?
I was getting stronger. Yes.
At least that
I
at
w
least that that
uh,
was your goal. I mean, you getting
yeah,
fat, that's a voluntary thing, but you were
yeah.
trying to get stronger, so you
I
were
was getting
getting
stronger.
stronger.
Not
Oh,
my bench only went up a little bit, but my squat and deadlift were always going up, like, each block. Because I was doing, do you know who Johnny Candido is? That he was
name is
a
familiar. You yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing, like, his 6 ring strength program, so, like, every block I was hitting a PR on my, on my squat and my deadlift, and my bench was going up, like, maybe 5 pounds, like, maybe. It was but I learned late it's because my form was not very good. Like, I was yeah, so
So hold on.
yeah.
Why was your form not very good?
Um, so I was not really controlling it on the way down, I was kinda just, like, dropping it and then trying to push it up, and
Why?
then why? I don't even know why I was doing that. And then what else did I need? I need to fix, like, I wasn't really using any of my, like, legs to create the stability or,
And
like
like, hold on, did you here's my question. Did you know you were not doing that? Or did you think you were doing that and you were not doing that?
I thought I was doing it, but I guess I wasn't doing it. Like, my feet were there, but, like, if you
Yeah, no, that makes
yeah.
sense because
Yeah.
until you feel
Yeah.
the movement, you don't get it. So as long as
Yeah.
you thought you were doing it, but you weren't actually doing it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I thought I was arching enough, I thought I was, like, bracing, I thought I was creating, like, the stability through my legs until, like
And were you not getting any what was the feedback you were getting as you were putting out this training footage?
So because that was when I was just doing like, I was just following the program and, like, I didn't have any coaching or anything. I was just doing this all by myself. Yeah, I would just like, whenever my friend was there, he would try to give me pointers,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
but if
Okay.
I'm by myself, then I'm just trying to I don't know, I'm just trying to figure it
That
out.
oh no, that totally makes sense. So
Yeah.
that explains it 100%. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
I w
until I'd been doing it for a while, and then he had gotten a coach, and then he's like, "Oh, you should just hire my coach, and then he can help you." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And then once I got the coach, then he, like, fixed everything right away, because then he could
okay,
see, like,
okay,
where my form
perfect,
was
perfect.
breaking
Oh,
down in each
perfect.
lift.
2
Yeah,
thumbs up for that coach. 2 thumbs up. That's good.
yeah. So, with him, I think I couldn't even bench. I think I was stuck under, like, even 200 pounds for, like, my 1 rep max, and then with him, I what did I get to? 255, 265, I think, for 1? Yeah, but there was, like, time because I got bigger, and then I think it was before I hired him as a coach, I hired this other like an online coach because I wanted to diet down and I kinda got stuck, and I was like, "Well, I don't know where to go from here because I've been pulling the calories down and now I'm kinda stuck, so I don't know what to do, so let me hire like an expert to tell me, like, what to do next in this diet phase." And she, like, cut my protein in half to drop the calories, and then I, like, was like, "Hmm, like, from everything I've read, you're not supposed to do that, but
Like,
you're the
of all
coach."
the things, of all
And
the
so
things,
yeah, so she, like, increased my carbs a little bit, cut my protein in half, and I was like, everything I've read ever says you shouldn't do this." And she's like, "Oh, no, it'll be fine." And I'm like, "Okay, you're the coach. I'm just gonna listen to you." So then I lost weight because I was stuck. If I remember right, I had, like, gotten up to, like, 195. I dieted down to 185 and kinda stuck there. Then she cut my protein, and then I did over a few months, I did lose another 10 pounds, but I just, like, got smaller. Like, and so that was, like, probably, like, all the muscle that I had done over, like, that dirty bulk, I, like, lost it. So I was like, "Okay, you're fired. I'm just gonna do this on my own because I can, I'll just do this again, but not eat Costco pizza every week." So then I'm pretty sure I was, like, 175. So I started building up again, and then that's when I hired the powerlifting coach. And then so with his because he just did the training and he didn't do the nutrition. So I was just following his training and eating better. Still not like super good, but it's still eating better. And I got up to like 195 again in this like like much better because the training was so good. Like so I was like good stimulus and actually building muscle. And then but the last few pounds I was kind of fluffy. So I did like a powerlifting meet in like the 198-pound class, but I
how
think
did you do?
I got I ended up getting 4th place, and I was mad because so what happened was we had my numbers, and I had already hit 375 for my squat in training twice leading up to the meet, so that was gonna be what I was gonna do at the meet. We're gonna play it safe, and I just, like, I don't even know what happened. I guess I just, like, psyched myself out because I came down 'cause usually for squats, I can grind it. So I came down and then I started in my head, I was grinding it up, but I, like, passed out because I was of, like, I think I overdid it on, like, the caffeine that day. That was, like, too, like I was, like, too overstimulated, so I blacked out trying to, like,
Yeah,
grind it up.
yeah.
'Cause I felt them grab me and pull me up, and I was like, "Why'd they touch me?" I was like, I'm grinding, I'm just going slow." But I looked back at the video footage and I, like, blacked out. So since I missed that 3rd squat, I ended up getting 4th place, but I didn't realize I missed my 3rd squat, I got all my benches, then, I hit a deadlift PR, and it like because my deadlifts going into the meet were kind of not so good, but that day they were flying. So I actually hit a PR. I think it was 485, but I missed like 3rd place by like 2.5 kilos, I think. So if he was just trying to make sure I got like all my lifts, but we didn't realize we were so close, or else we could have added 2.5 or 5 kilos to that last deadlift, and I would have gotten like 2nd place, I think.
I beat somebody by that before. It's very close, 2.5
Yeah, and I
kilos,
was like,
yeah.
"Oh," but it was my first meet, so I was just having fun anyways, but I didn't realize I was so close to placing.
But yeah, there's a whole thing behind the competing for sure,
Yeah.
with knowing the
So
approach, yeah.
so that was cool, and then, after that, though, that's when, I was like I said, I'd, like, had, bulked up to that, like, 195-ish, but I was still kind of not happy with, like, my body composition, and then that's when started working with Joe, and then COVID hit. But I got in like really good shape with him, and I was still trying to do like like kind of powerlifting with him at first, but it was just getting to be like too much on my knees. So then that's when I switched, and I was like, I'm just gonna focus on bodybuilding after that. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it's like been through a lot of the phases of like the dieting the wrong way, and then and that
And
was like
when
a
let
couple
me
years
ask
of
you
that.
let me ask you something.
Yeah.
When you get this plan from this person and you're
Yeah.
following it, do you ever think to yourself, "Is this the best plan for me to do?" Or do you just go, "Hey, it's the plan, I follow it 100%."
That first time I was like, "Well, this is the plan, so I'm just gonna follow it." And then after that, I was like, "I'm gonna start asking more questions." Yeah.
And then but you continue to do stuff that you thought wasn't really optimal just because you had paid a coach.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
Mm,
did that first time. Yeah.
mm.
So that's why I know if, like, someone's gonna pay me, like, money to do it, I'm, like, not gonna mess it up because I've, like, wasted money myself on things that didn't work.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously the person has to do the work, but yeah, it's like some of the plans
Yes.
that people get, it just doesn't like that doesn't make sense. She obviously what she saw was she just didn't take you as a person into account. If she got that diet plan from a woman or so, she go, yeah, we can drop the protein in half because this person's probably eating 6, 7 ounces of protein with a meal. So let's just cut down calories there. But
Yeah.
for you, a person with a load of muscle, she should have gone, obviously muscle is his priority, so I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, because like I said, she had dropped my protein and replaced those calories with carbs, so of course you're gonna feel better if after you've, like, had your carbs low.
Like, how
Basically, it
let
was
me
like a
ask you,
refeed.
let me ask you, how many calories are tell me the macros. What were these macros?
I think if I remember right, I think I had my protein around, like, 200 grams.
No,
I
about
think
the diet she gave you, how much
so
was
it's when she switched it, I think it was, like, 100 grams of protein a day,
okay, how
and
many carbs?
then and I think she upped it to, like, 250 carbs or
Okay,
300,
and
and then
then
the
how much
fats were about the same. It was probably, like, 80 grams of fat,
Ooh,
somewhere around there.
that's a nice diet. That's a
Yeah.
nice diet. That's not a bodybuilding diet, but that's a nice diet. Like you can fit a lot as yeah, that's nice. That's too, as
Yeah.
far as having to follow it compared to like I've done diets where it was literally just tuna 6 times a day. That's it. And then another time, I literally before I won the Europa show in 2010, I did nearly a month of only species whey isolate, and I would eat it dry.
Oh
I'd
my
eat
goodness.
400 grams a day of it. I look great. I was
No
big and
way.
full. I was big and full. Yeah, I had a discussion with a friend, and it was like, "Hey, look, if we don't put any fat into the body at all, what does the body have left to do but eat up your own fat? So let's just eat
Yeah.
400 grams of protein and do that." Would I ever
Yeah.
recommend anyone to do that? No, I would never recommend
Yeah.
anyone do that. But I've done that. Yeah.
My goodness.
But yeah, if you tell me I can eat 300 carbs, 80 grams of fat, and 100 grams of protein, I go, yeah, that's a pretty easy diet. I can do that.
Yeah, so that's how it was something like that she
That's a
started
lot
and
of carbs. That's a lot of good
yeah.
fats.
Yeah.
I don't have to eat tons of protein. That's the hardest part in the bodybuilding diets is eating the damn protein. That's the hard part. 6 to 8 ounces, sometimes even more, 6 times a day or so. That's brutal.
Yeah. So, yeah, because it wasn't even like what foods to eat. It was just she just gave me, like, the macros.
I would never pay somebody for that. I'm sorry, that I'm not paying
Yeah.
for because I can get an app to do it. I would do an app.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I would trust an app more because I'm like, to this person, I don't know how the app's always gonna give me the same information that it's programmed to give. A person, depending on their workload, their level of attention might be different. That's how I would see that.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely learned my lesson the hard way that time, and then she obviously so she did that, and then she cut, like then I forgot how what we dropped the carbs and the fats down to for me to lose, like, another 10 or so pounds, but yeah. So, definitely no, not to do that again.
But at this point, Sam, you don't really need anyone to tell you how to eat to fuel your body. You know how to
Yeah,
eat to
yeah,
fuel your body now, but that's a
yeah,
big
no.
lesson to learn, and that takes a very long
Yeah,
time to learn.
yes,
And if you
definitely.
didn't have all these experiences, then you would have never got to this point. So, yeah,
True, that is true, yeah. I mean, that's just how life is, I guess, sometimes you just have to go
of
through
course,
things the hard way to to learn the lesson.
of course,
Yeah,
it's very, very rare that it goes the other way.
yeah, yeah, very true. So, yeah, that's some of my background of like, that's why I'm, uh, not gonna do that to other people. Because I actually was just talking to one of my coworkers, he's trying to lose weight for a trip in July. So I was just giving him, some advice about his diet, and he said like, "Oh, yeah, I need to cut my calories. I think I saw something you can get away with eating less protein." And I was like, I'm gonna stop you right there. Just trust me, do not do that. Trust me. If you want to keep your muscle and lose the fat, do not cut your protein in half. I've done that and did not end well.
I always ask people, where are you even getting, where's all this protein coming from? Please tell me all the protein that you're actually eating because
Yeah.
it's often not that much.
Yeah. So that was the thing is I think he was doing and then I just told him he was having like a lot of protein shakes and then he was complaining that he was hungry. And I was like, well, dude, you just need to eat like real food. You just need to eat like eggs and chicken and beef and yogurt and stuff, and then you won't be as hungry because it's going to be more filling. So then I told him that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was like a couple weeks ago now, and then I asked him because he also wasn't he was trying to lose weight, but he also wasn't really he was just counting like how much protein he was having every day. He wasn't actually weighing out like his carbs or his fats in each meal. And I was like, okay, well, weigh all that stuff and then make sure you're eating priority whole foods with like all your protein. You're not going to be as hungry. And then, if you're not even weighing out all the oils you're cooking in, how are like if you're even in a calorie deficit? So I talked to him yesterday. He started doing everything and he's lost like a few pounds. And I was like, well, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's and when people start eating correctly, their inflammation goes down, and often they realize that the pounds that they thought was body fat was actually
Yeah.
just body inflammation. But it takes a while for that to come out of the body. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that was one of the things we worked on when we started together. That's what you had mentioned to me that you thought I was more inflamed than
Yeah,
fat.
I mean, we all are. That's like
Yeah.
that's an issue for literally everybody. We're all at a different level of inflammation, and the more inflamed we are, the more pulled together we are. But I mean, inflammation. I mean, that goes from what if you have one bad night of sleep. Like I said, it takes 4 nights to recover from it. It's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Even if
so keep on, keep on.
no, I'm saying even if you feel like you're recovered, if you'd actually track your HRV and so on, you'd realize how all these little impacts are not actually little at all. They're like major into your recovery. So
Yeah.
the more we
Yeah.
can the more we can just get into that routine where we're just keeping the body recovered and moving forwards, then the rest will come very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was still feeling good, but now, just kinda getting I was just really just getting through it those last, like, 3 months. Because now that my schedule changed, it's been, like, a month that I've actually been able to sleep every day, like, at least 6 hours. It feels so much better.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how stressed are you during the day?
I'm not that stressed. It
Yeah.
just, depends, like, on the day. It really just depends, like, how my kids are doing with everything. Sometimes they're just having a bad day, and it can be more stressful on me.
Yeah, but work, it's okay.
Yeah, work is not very stressful. So that's what's good for me, is, like, it's just very monotonous. So it's not very stressful.
Okay, good.
I think other people can get stressed out by it, but I'm not letting it get to me.
And what is the stressful part of it?
'Cause, like so now that I work on, like, a passenger railroad, it's, like, all, like, based on time. So if you're running late, people will stress out about it, but, like, since I came from freight where you don't have any time, like, I still have, like, kinda that mindset, like, I'm gonna try to be there on time, but I'm also not gonna, like, get myself in trouble and, like, speed. I can't speed, it won't let you, but the train won't let you, but, like, I'm not gonna stress out about it, like, I'm just gonna get there when I get there. If, like, we end up behind a little bit, I mean, oh well. 'Cause
How
usually
much
the reasons we're delayed is, like, the passengers are just, like there's just a lot of passengers just getting on and off the train. Because the way they have the time set up, like, you're only supposed to be at the station for, like, a few seconds, so if there's more people on the station, like, getting on and off than usual, like, you're gonna end up being late, but, I mean, we're supposed to be moving the passengers, right?
so when you're on the track, you're dictating how fast you're going on the various pieces of the track?
Yeah, I mean, there's, like, speed limits for every section that I have to have, like, memorized. It's also, like, in a computer to kinda, like, remind you, but, like, the only way to stay on time is if you, like, push it, like, you're going that max speed, like, at as far as you can until, like, the last second, then you slow down to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why can that not be an automated system?
Um, I think for us because, I mean, I guess you probably, like, could automate it, but it'd be hard with, like the only I think one of the reasons that it's not is because if, like, the train breaks for some reason, then we have to be there to, like, try to troubleshoot it. You wouldn't be able to have it just, like, on, like, going because if
Yeah,
something breaks on the train, it wouldn't be able to fix itself.
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's really the main thing because most of the time it's gonna be working fine, but then if there is, like, something wrong with, like, one of the engines or, like, something just randomly happens, then you have to troubleshoot it, like, you can't if it's supposed to be running by itself, then it wouldn't work.
yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah. And do you ever have to adjust the speed as you're going compared to the same rhythm that you normally follow?
Yeah, it depends, like, on the weather conditions too, so, like, when it's raining, the train's not gonna, like, stop and start as well as it would if the conditions were dry. So then you have to adjust how you're running for that, and then, like, sometimes they'll, like, run us, like, a different route than usual, so then you have to adjust your speed going through, like, different things that way, but it really depends.
And
Most of the time, it's all the same thing.
do you have to be looking out the whole time? You're looking at where you're going and you're regulating then?
But yeah,
Mhm.
because there's still, like, especially around, like, the platforms, because people wanna, like, walk out in front of the train.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that.
No, no, you gotta watch out for that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the main thing, but that's why I mean, it's good. Um, I've been railroading for, like, 13 years now,
Mhm.
but I just really wanna focus more. That's my goal this year, is just to do the coaching full time, as I'm doing, like, both, and it's hard to get, like, both done and then still spend time with the family as much as I want
Yeah.
to.
No, but let me ask you on that.
Mhm.
What's taking you so much time with the check-ins? Or what's taking the most of that time?
I think it's not so much of the check-ins, it's more of the content creation. Yeah.
But I'm saying is as far as the coaching goes, you could continue to grow it while having the train job.
Yeah, that's my goal. I need to keep growing it until, like, I get to a point
That makes
where I
sense, yeah.
have, like, too many clients, then I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
both.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a good trust me, that's a good do it like that. Trust me
Yeah.
on that, because 'cause you're gonna have fluctuations. It's just how it goes. You want to have as much as you might not enjoy it right now, do ride it for a good while, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's the goal. I'm gonna do both until it gets to a point where I have too many clients, so I wouldn't be able to get everything done during the day.
Yeah, that is a point that you can get to, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's growing for you bit by bit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Slowly, slowly. But it's still been going pretty good. It's going pretty good.
Look, it's just you just keep putting it out there and it
Yeah.
grows on itself. It's just how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, you know, because you've been doing this for so long.
Absolutely. And like I say, you'll have ups and downs. The question is, are you living the lifestyle? And if so, then as long as you do, you can put yourself out there and there will be people drawn to you who want to do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the big thing about it. But you have to keep doing it for yourself. That's the problem because as soon as you don't do it for yourself as such, you won't get the clients in the same way.
I have noticed that since I think, like, because I made that decision to hire you last year, because I had been, like, kind of focused more on, like, the coaching business and, like, not so much on my own,
Yeah.
like, personal, like, well-being, I guess you could say, or, like, I'd kinda take it, like, let that take a back burner, but the more that I've been focused on, like you said, living the lifestyle, then the more clients come, because then
Well,
I'm showing.
you have to think about it. Why would somebody hire you? So the
Yeah.
question is, do you have a big background? I have a pretty good background with different things I've done over the years, which has
Mhm.
established me in different ways. But just for yourself, you are your background. So
Yeah.
if you're not currently leading the way, why would anybody want to hire you? Because you don't have all these things behind you that you can say, "Hey, I've done this. I've coached this person, so on, so
Mhm.
on." In
Yeah.
order to get new people, you have to show yourself, and I mean, you're looking great, dude. I mean, it's coming
No,
you're
thanks.
doing it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So I have to show that
Just
I'm doing it, and
you
so.
just have to keep doing it, and first and
Mhm.
foremost, you have to do it for yourself, so it can't feel like a chore, and as soon as it doesn't feel like a chore and that's much easier said than done.
Yeah.
So much it can take years for that to go away, it comes and goes, but when it doesn't feel like that and you are really rolling with it, trust me, you'll get lots of requests.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think, yeah, because that's what I'm still working on. Because I like you, like, the nutrition's good, the training's been going good. Now that you gave me that other, like, the training plan, it's been how long has it been? A couple months now, I think. I think for me to get through the all the phases of it, because I just started it again. I just started phase 2 the second time around this week.
Just
And
remember, at
then
the end of the day, it's always just you contracting your muscles and different ways of setting that up. But that
yeah,
never changes. It's just always you just squeezing your muscles on those exercises.
yeah,
That's all it is. Because it's easy to get kind of like emotional attachments to types of working out, and then you get like more fired up for one and another. Try not to do that. Just approach it all like you're just putting work into the muscle.
yeah. That's what
Sound
I've
it, yeah,
that's what I've done with this, because each of these phases is, like, a little different,
yes.
but each is, like, its own, like, challenging way. But if you're still I'm still focusing basically on that same principle. So it doesn't matter which phase I'm in, I'm still thinking of those same things.
Because all they are reps. Go
Yeah.
one rep at a time, and every
Mhm.
rep you're trying to make it as productive as possible. That's all you're trying to do.
Yeah. Mhm.
And how you set it up in reps and sets doesn't really matter. You're just always just trying to get those really good reps.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to teach, like, my clients too, is because I think some people, like, they could just get stuck on doing, like and just doing, like, the 3 sets of 10 or 12 or whatever, but they're not focused on actually contracting their muscle. They're just, like we said, just moving the weight from A to B.
Yeah, it's very hard to learn.
Yeah.
That's why you have to teach them.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, cool. Yeah, that was pretty good. Oh, that was the point I was gonna say. So I've been doing those couple things. The thing I'm still working on is just is working on opening up my hips. That's what I'm still working on. But that like you gave me those squats which I've been doing, and then just trying to do like all my stretching every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting your hip. I do that all day long. Just get in different positions and stretch those hips. Just
Yeah.
whatever they put one foot up onto a chair, stretch the hips like that. And
Yeah. That's I probably should try different ones. I kind of keep doing the same ones. I probably should switch it up.
constantly switch it up.
Okay. That's what I'll do then.
Constantly, just no rhythm or routine. Just move those hips.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I was doing you had sent me a video, and I'd been doing those I'd added that in.
No good. But
Yeah.
those are just little things I see, and I go, hey, I think Sam could do with that. So just to give it a try, see if it
Yeah.
takes or not. Yeah,
Yeah. I like those. I like those videos you send. Those are very
yeah,
helpful.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for taking so much of your time to talk to me today.
Not at all, dude. I'm in no
Yeah.
rush at all.
Okay. Um, I think that was pretty I think that's pretty good for our first podcast. Like I said, I'll have you on probably a couple more times because there's so much
Absolutely.
to talk about. So we'll just need like, we're both pretty busy, but we'll find another time where it works for both of us to have you on again.
Yeah, man, we can find this. No problem. Like something like this again, that works.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Okay. Well then that'll be it for this episode. And then you said you're mostly on Instagram and YouTube,
Yeah,
right? Is
yeah.
it
Instagram is the main one. Just
okay, yeah. So if anyone wants
yeah,
to find him, then it's just is it Parkin underscore Cornelius? Is that it?
yep, that's right.
Okay.
And you can always leave a link in the bio, huh?
Yes, I'll do that. I'm still working on the doing all that stuff on
I understand.
editing, but I'll
It's
I'll
all
make
good.
sure I do that though for everyone. Cool.
Well, thank you
Okay.
very much, Sam. This has been a pleasure today, my friend.
Yes, it has. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Well done. All right, bro. See you
See
later.
ya.